Folks, join me in welcoming Baylor women's basketball coach Nicki Collen with us tonight. Welcome to you.
Hey, thanks.
It's great to see you.
It's good to be here.
All right.
It's always good to smell like barbecue, huh?
That's true. Well, that's another story for another day. But we're glad you're here, and a lot of good barbecue here. You played on Monday, that game against UCLA. We'll talk about that. But then a few days until you play again on Sunday at TCU. A little recruiting going on this week?
Yep, a lot of recruiting. We've had people out because we took 2 days off, Tuesday, Wednesday. Didn't get home until 4 a.m. That was a fiasco getting back. But off on Tuesday, Wednesday, back at it today. But yes, we've been out. I was out yesterday. Tari's been out. Tony's been out. Sophia's been out. Tari's out now. Tari's out tomorrow. We're trying to hit it hard right now. I guess you call this a break?
Yeah, right. Not much of a break,
no.
Right? Well, you got home at you played at 2 p.m. Central Time on Monday, and you got home at 4 a.m.
Yeah, so apparently there's no de-icing equipment at the FBO here in Waco.
Right.
And so this crazy combination of media taking forever for us to leave the arena, it taking about an hour on the bus to get onto the tarmac. It took almost 2 hours to leave.
Ugh.
By the time they loaded bags, got all the weights and balances and all that ready, we were 12th to take off because we were at Newark.
12.
And then because of 120-mile-an-hour headwinds, it took 4 hours and 40 minutes.
That's unbelievable.
We landed at the same time as Texas, who played in the game after us. So they were on a little bit bigger plane, but we landed in Austin and had to bus back because of potential de-icing situations. So, yeah, so anyway, I pulled up at my house at 4 a.m.
Oh,
so we thought our original itinerary had us getting home between 9 and 10.
Not
Almost.
close. Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
4 hours and 40 minutes just because of the headwind?
4 hours and 40 minutes.
That should be like
in the air. That's
right.
not – I mean, you know when you get on a plane normally and
sure.
it takes 30 minutes to taxi out and fly.
Right,
no,
right.
that was literally air time.
After being 12th in line to take off and all
Correct.
the other stuff.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
It was a long time.
To me, 4 hours and 40 minutes should be cross-country, you know?
I think it's taken me less time to go Boston to Seattle
Yeah?
coaching in the league than,
Good grief.
Newark to Austin.
Okay.
It was wild.
Wow. All right, aside from the travel, how was the experience, the game, playing against the number one team in the nation, UCLA?
Yeah, really awesome experience for our team. You know, for New York that time of year, we got decent weather. It only sprinkled on us a little bit, but dinner at Carmine's and Hamilton was amazing. Girls loved it. I think the best part was watching Bugs sing along the entire performance. The girls literally on the edge of their seat, you know, kind of watching, and it was a really cool experience. Even walking back. The weather had cleared off, so even being in Times Square, taking pictures in Times Square, making the walk back to the hotel. So really cool culture experience for our team.
Love that. That is great. That is so cool. What about what's the benefit of playing against a team like UCLA?
I think the biggest benefit for us is I don't know that we played our best basketball, but I thought we were competitive. Mm-hmm. A lot of teams have gotten annihilated by them, and I thought had the officials let Nettie play, we would have had a little bit better matchup for Lauren because I thought we did a pretty good job everywhere else. She's a hard person to guard, especially for a 6'2" freshman. But give it up to Kyla and Kayla for really all that they did to compete in that game. But I think, you know, turning around and playing against another 6'7" player in Sedona Prince, I think it prepares us. What worked, what didn't work, how do we have to move her? We don't want to get our shot blocked 9 times. I think Sedona only blocked our shot 7 times. I think Asia Blackwell last year thought the harder she shot it, it was going to make it to the rim. Just meant it came back at her that much faster. You know, but I think from that perspective, playing an elite team with size, you know, I think it's gonna catapult us in the right direction.
And just to be selected to participate in the inaugural Coretta Scott King Classic, I mean, that's a real honor and a real coup for Baylor women's basketball.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know that Coach Mulkey created a culture of winning, and I think that the Baylor brand grew very, very strong when she was here. And one of the things I've been most proud of since I've been here is keeping this program at a level where we're still invited to those events, where we're being asked to play in Atlantis, where we're being asked to play in events all over the world, because the Baylor brand has relevance. And so, I'm grateful for that opportunity, I think, to play on Martin Luther King Day, especially, the demographics of women's basketball in our team and what it means for these young African-American athletes to have that platform is really, really special. So grateful that we were invited, grateful that we got to participate, and just a really cool experience in general. I don't like losing. My quote today was a Winston Churchill about him saying he likes to learn, but sometimes he doesn't like that he has to learn, essentially. And that whole idea of that, you learn in losses oftentimes more than you learn in wins. But it's still hard. Failing is hard. It's not fun. It's not fun to look back at the film and see the missed shots or the poor decisions or the missed screens or all those missed assignments. But if you don't want to learn, you'll never be good enough that when you're in the next situation like that you don't make the next right decision. So hopefully we take that and really get better.
Continuing with Coach Nicki Collen, and we've got some good questions from the audience.
Let's go.
I'll let you go through these. Sometimes I don't, but I'll let you go through these during the break. So let's hit these. We were just talking about it. Luann Olson asked, had most of the girls been to New York City before, and what is a special memory you had with the girls in New York?
Most of them had not, actually. I was surprised. Wise actually over Christmas break went with a friend and spent 4 or 5 days while we were, instead of going home with somebody. But there was just so much that was cool. I think practicing at Nike headquarters was exciting. I think Hamilton, I think just being in the city, the energy of the city, walking by our hotel was right next to Madison Square Garden, Penn Station. So, we had a bunch of staff that really had never been in the city before. I had a bunch of them. I had a really cool room with a balcony with views of the Empire State Building.
Oh.
I mean, direct. So it's pretty incredible. So New York, I always say this about New York. I could never live there, but I sure love to visit.
Yeah.
Like, I like the shows. I like the energy of the city. If I had more time, I'm an art person, so I would love always to go to Museum of Modern Art. But, yeah, so, lots of cool memories.
Very good. Did your kids go with you?
They did not this time.
Okay, gotcha. They've been before?
Not really.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not really, but, with cheer and everything else.
Yeah, a little bit busy.
Reese was actually in Guatemala doing a mission trip while we were in New York City. So had a hard time. The group had a hard time getting back. So a lot of drama with that, but a cool trip for her, too.
Back safely now?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, another question from Teresa Ban-Kelly. Teresa's right there. What is this is good. This is a hot topic these days. What's your favorite flavor of chewing gum for this team?
Okay, so we use a lot of different chewing gums. But the one that blows my mind that a lot of our girls chew is the watermelon. Every time I pick it up, I think it's mint, and every time I throw it away. I'm personally a Trident girl, so I'm Trident Original and mainly Trident Cinnamon. But true story, our exhibition game, my first year here, I normally don't chew gum when I coach. I just don't. But I had a bunch of coffee, and I thought I had coffee breath. And so I put gum in my mouth to help everybody else around me. I forgot to throw it away before the game, and I got a 2-page letter from a fan about it being unladylike to chew gum during the game. And so I, not to be offended by it, but also took the time to write that letter. So I don't chew a lot of gum, but I am definitely a Trident girl.
Very nice. And very ladylike.
Yeah,
and everything you do.
Thanks.
Good question. Thanks, Teresa. Jessica Ban-Kelly asked similar type question. What kind of hot tea do you drink on the sideline? Do you do that?
I do.
Okay.
So I want to say it was COVID. It for sure was COVID, and we had a former student athlete that played for us at Arkansas became like a brand ambassador for Arbonne. And so there's an Arbonne challenge, and I had done the challenge, and you drink this detox tea. So I have bought that tea ever since. And so I'll put like a fizz stick is what they're like, a little bit of energy. I'm pretty hyped up on between caffeine, different ways that I'm getting caffeine, but I put a fizz stick in there of a flavor. So, yes, it's Arbonne detox tea with a fizz stick.
There you go. Fizz stick, gum, caffeine, you got it all going on the sidelines.
Right.
Roy asked, what is your favorite play in basketball? For example, a three-pointer, a dish, or what? Your favorite play?
I'll tell you, it's there's a lot of ways that you can get to this, but anytime on offense that the ball basically touches everybody's hand in a short period of time, and you make like we call it a one more pass, like you go good to great and we hit a three, or it could be good to great and you get a layup. Like anytime the ball is like popping around and you see our girls then pointing at one another, like I will always say my favorite moment is when I see them pointing at each other because they're like giving it up. So that would be mine.
Good.
And my most hated play in basketball, okay, this one's really simple, and you'd think as chair of the rules committee I could make this happen, but haven't gotten enough support. One of the things I strongly dislike is anything that's dangerous, and so one of the things that people do to post players in particular, you'll have a rim running post player running down the middle, and they'll be looking over their shoulder at their point guard, thinking they're going to throw him a long pass, and a little guard or someone will step up in front of them and take a charge in the open court, and all you see is a full body collision. Did that player get that first? Is it by letter of the rule? Did they give him time and space? Yes, I just don't like it because I don't like anything that's a dangerous play. I think we're only as good as the players we get to put on the floor. And so I want to see all the best players out there playing, and I think it's a very, very dangerous play.
Yeah, very good. All right, very good. Thanks. Good questions, Roy. Michael Kelly asked, do you hear what the students are saying during a game, and does it affect you?
No. That's a really easy answer. I am – it's almost like there's noise around me, but I don't hear the noise. Like that's how I tend to – now every once in a while I'll be somewhere. Kansas this year, they had a lot to say. I was smiling a lot because there was a lot of interesting conversations happening in the stands. So every once in a while, but, like Allen Fieldhouse, like those first 4 or 5 rows are basically next to you. And so yeah, I don't usually hear much unless it's a dead ball, it's quiet, and someone says something crazy. Yeah. But just natural reaction. I know when we played at Virginia Tech, Reese, who's here today, was cheering, and apparently the students were saying a lot of really not very nice things about me. And, her cheer coaches were like, are you okay? Are you okay? And she's like, if my mom can handle it, I think I can handle it. But I don't hear them. So, but I know there was a lot to do with being a Karen that day. So, so I was told afterwards.
Probably best you didn't hear it. Or they think
I'm entertained by those things. Like I don't.
But you can't engage, can you? Like you can't let them know that you even hear what they say. Okay,
so literally I'm at a high school game last night, and I thought it was crazy because I'm not even sure if it was a violation or not, but this kid didn't take the ball out, but then handed it to her teammate, so she didn't hand it over the line.
Right.
But it was just this really awkward exchange after a made basket. And the fans were yelling that it was a violation. And she, yelled up into the stands like she never took the ball out.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, probably not best as an official to maybe engage and answer. And so I tend not to engage unless it's like a smile or you can do better.
Right.
I've been known to say something, but I'm not one to usually poke the bear. I've coached with people that love to poke the bear when it comes to opponents' players, and I think that's weird. So, if Diana Taurasi was missing shots, I was going to have nothing to say.
Yeah,
because I was happy as heck that she was missing shots. So there was nothing I was going to do to get her going.
Very good. So that's funny. That's what we say about Bob, our engineer. Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear.
If things are going well, everything's good. If things aren't going well, don't poke the bear. Y'all remember that, okay,
Yep,
with Bob.
yep.
All right, we got another question. It's about the game Sunday, TCU. So let's take a break, and then we'll talk about your next game against the Horned Frogs coming up on Sunday. We'll continue with Coach Nicki Collen. Back with Baylor women's basketball coach Nicki Collen on the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's. You got almost your whole staff here, except for Tari, who's out. Welcome. Glad y'all are here. Good group. Back from New York and back to Waco. One question just handed to me during the break, and we'll talk about TCU in a moment. But Jana, who's injured and rehabbing, worked radio that game on Monday with Derek Smith. I thought she did an outstanding job. I hope she enjoyed it. And how'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I haven't heard it, so she was excited to do it. The idea came up when we knew Lori wasn't going to travel to Arizona State. But we thought with that swing trip and that 5 days, Shilisa, our trainer, thought it was more important that she stay behind and do her PT and really rehab during that stretch. But knowing she was going to be on the trip to New York, and I'm sure David Kay did awesome as well. But, I thought it was a cool opportunity. Jana doesn't know exactly what she wants to do life after basketball because she's talked about playing overseas and doing a lot of different things. But I certainly think she's a smart kid, and so it was probably a cool experience. But I was happy to have her do it, and to get that experience. Radio, to me, having done a lot of radio and a lot of TV, it's actually easier than TV to me because there's so much of the play-by-play person is talking because they're explaining what's happening.
Right.
So, you're only like really, really filling in when there's dead balls and the play-by-play person can kind of throw it to you. So I thought it's a really good way to start talking about the game because when you're in the trenches, it allows you to explain things that if you're actually just listening to the game, not listening to it and watching it, that you can maybe pick up from the broadcast. So I think it can be really cool to have a really inside perspective from a color person on radio, because on TV you can see what's happening.
Right.
So you're adding to it, but it's also different from an explanatory perspective.
Very good. She did a great job.
Awesome.
All right, give me 15 seconds on TCU coming up Sunday.
15 seconds, the big three. Maddie Connor, one of the best shooters in the country, got to limit her threes. Sedona Prince, just playing at an elite level, shot blocker, making the 17-footer, really good around the rim. And then Haley Van Lith, they go as she goes, is going to have the ball in her hands a lot. It's going to dribble a lot, going to take a lot of shots, but really good in middle ball screen actions. And so certainly got to contain them, but they have other 4 really good role players that can make shots and play alongside those big threes and step up in big moments. So we're going to have to be really good, but excited for the challenge. I think we'll be up to it.
That's great. Sunday at 2 o'clock.
Sunday at
Fort
2.
Worth.
We need you in Fort Worth.
Come on, let's go to Fort Worth. Coach, thanks very much. We'll have you back in a few weeks. Nicki Collen, Baylor women's basketball coach.